Sports Extra on a Tuesday, keeping you informed.
We have 10 procedures tonight.
Sports Extra Cayman Islands.
So a young team full of talent, full of desire to do good things.
We've had some success with the outdoor league being restarted.
Good evening and welcome to Radio Cayman Sports Extra. I'm your host, Dionne, and tonight we have Coach Daniel Augustine. He's back in the studio with us just to give us some feedback about how the boys under 16 district basketball went over the last couple of weeks. Based on my understanding and from being there as well, it was huge. It was huge. Yeah, it was amazing. And we also have Mr. Mitchum Sanford that's going to be on in the last 15 minutes of our show just to discuss also the district basketball and, of course, other sports on Cayman Brac, because they got lots of things going on there as well. And we need to hear from that side of the island as well, right? So stay tuned. We'll be back with more Sports Extra in a minute, all right?
The Department of Agriculture would like to inform the community of the holiday closure hours for the plant nursery, sales office, and abattoir starting from the 20th of February in preparation of the upcoming agriculture show on Ash Wednesday, February 22nd. All offices will be closed on Ash Wednesday. For more information, visit doa.gov.ky or their Facebook or Instagram page at Agriculture Cayman.
System 1
For the record, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 9:30, we interview the various government ministers, opposition, and Cayman Island legislators. For the record is brought to you by West Bay Pharmacy at Centennial Towers. Visit us today for fast, efficient, and professional service. Everything you need and the hours you need it at West Bay Pharmacy.
Grand Cayman's biggest one-day family fun day is back! The 54th Annual Agricultural Show at the Stacey Watler Agricultural Pavilion in Lower Valley. Ash Wednesday, February 22nd. Raffle tickets are on sale now, and for only $25, you can win $20,000 and so many other prizes. Raffle tickets include general admission to the show. For more information, visit them on Facebook or CaymanAgriculture.com.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Alrighty, welcome back to Radio Cayman Sports Extra. Coach Daniel Augustine in the studio with us, and he's here to discuss the recent district basketball league that the Department of Sports held over the last couple of weeks. Also mini basketball. He's also the youth development coach for youth basketball in the Cayman Islands, and of course the men's league is in progress. So we're going to talk about all of that, all things basketball, wherever this discussion leads us. But let's start, Daniel, or first, how are you doing?
Well, judging by how full my plate is for the next 30 minutes, I'm doing excellent, Dionne.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, your plate is quite full.
But yeah, basketball is, definitely keeping, the youths busy, first and foremost, and including a lot of talent in that we've been seeing over the last 4.5 weeks with the District Basketball League, sponsored by Burger King, big up. Without their support, no legs at all.
Right.
So I know the kids were really, really taken back with the style of the uniforms and things like that. So they were really thankful and showing and displayed positivity all the way through. And I think that's what kind of led the tournament to be such an enjoyment, one to watch, from parents to spectators, young kids coming out and you're saying, wow, look at what some kids that are a little bit older than me are doing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And they, that's something that they can definitely look forward to. So it's all about growth too.
Yeah, it definitely is. I've heard some really good feedback about the District Basketball League. As someone who is appointed to the development of youth basketball for SEBA, what projections do you have on how the District Basketball League went and the turnout it had?
Well, as expected, there's always room for growth. But we want to definitely build on, what's taking place this year. The goal was to meet the required districts within each zone, meaning West Bay, North, South, West, East, and all the respective districts. So hopefully next year we can build on that and have what we had was 3 teams this year, but once we grow, I think we can eventually get up to 5 teams per district, with the inclusion of maybe some younger talent. That way we can eventually build on what SEBA's initiatives are when developing national teams, etc., etc.
But based on the feedback received from this boys division alone, do you think next year we might have more teams? Because I know you're talking about maybe 4 teams. You might get more than that based on the feedback.
Yeah, we should maximize all of the electoral zones. That's the goal, and we're going to be really pushing for that. After scouting the under 14 tournament that's going on right now, we clearly have a small group of those kids from that bracket playing in the tournament. So as far as building for next year, I think that age group should be able to fill a lot of the the other electoral districts and zones.
There's a lot going on for basketball right now.
There is a lot.
So bear with me when our local sports report has a lot of basketball, because I'm covering a lot of basketball, football, rugby, there's volleyball, right? Although I have my people complain and tell me I need to do more football. So, swimming and sailing. We just had someone that qualified for the Pan Am Games as well. So Webster, I believe her name is. So that's amazing. There's a lot going on with basketball. There's the under 14. There's is it the primary school league?
Correct.
Is that the under 14 or is that?
No, that's separate. Under 14 is more secondary.
Right.
And then the primary school is
under 11 or something.
Under 11.
Under 11s.
This year we got 17 boys teams and 16 girls teams, and
it's huge.
Yeah, it's it's way huge than ever before. A total of like 36 teams in total.
Right.
And we're just taken back because not throwing out anything for next year, but that's another area that with the Department of Sports and Department of Education, we see with collaboration, we can build more on it and get more teams and see more talent come out for that sport. You know what I mean? And then we can work from there. And
then there's the men's. And then the women's are coming up as well. The women's league is coming up.
Yeah, the men's league is on right now. They play Sundays and Mondays, and I think Thursdays later on in the next couple of weeks.
When the women starts, I think they will extend it to Thursdays.
Exactly.
And then I know that with the new president on board, he has a lot of goals in line for youth basketball, right? To take it to another level. Hence, you've now been elected to be in charge of the youth development, the mini basketball league, which is incredible. Yeah. How has that been coming along?
It's phenomenal. It's something that's been growing for years. Now it's more curriculum based. So a lot of what is going to be done has to be taught a specific way and for a duration also too, just to ensure that age group, that fundamental age group,
right,
that learn to train age group is vital for any sport,
right.
And once we don't not overtrain, but we want to make sure that all of the kids, like you mentioned earlier, Sports Xtra is huge, and sports in Cayman, kudos to all of our Cayman athletes that are striving for excellence. But for basketball, we want to, ensure that our development phases are all met, and all criteria are met also too.
Awesome. So we're going to get back to mini basketball. Let's continue where we started with the district league. Apart from Georgetown, which district would you say you saw like the most potential of players?
I saw, well, starting in West Bay, of course. Your eyes tend to want to almost deliberately, see, a level of play, and hopefully an individual would kind of like, wow you too also
Right.
too as a coach. And that West Bay certainly had a few athletes that, that at this level, give and take, a year or two, we should be our under 17 boys national team.
Right.
We should have some fairly decent amount of players. And it trickles down into Georgetown, the same thing also too. And I say that because playing outside is not as easy as playing inside.
Very
And
different.
If you were there, part of the tournament for the last few weeks, the tournament was being played outside, outdoors. Right. So that requires a level of mentality. And between the ages of 15 and 16, I think those young men did an excellent job.
What's the reason for having it on the outside?
We want to connect more with the community. You can literally throw a stone from your backyard and see the game playing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of communities are like that's what they are. It's a community. Stay within your community, shop in your community, play sports in your community, eat with your community fellow mates. That's build, and create some sort of rapport, some sort of support, within not only just one, but all five.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I know there was a lot of, not necessarily complaints, but comments being passed about the final 2 days being held in Bordentown because some of the athletes couldn't make it to Bordentown. But, I said to myself, well, now they know how East End and North Side feel when tournaments are being held in Georgetown.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's a huge point, Dionne. That's huge. Like
everything's always being held in Georgetown.
Everything has been held in Georgetown, sorry. And, not even culturally, but we're like, it's community, in our eyes in sports is one.
Right.
So like when we watch the Olympics, we're watching a community of one. Different countries, but a community of one. So us trying to create that sporting environment, from West Bay all the way to East End is an important factor, especially when developing our national teams, and not only national teams, but we're being so specific in our selection.
Right, but in order to get the support, we still also have to be mindful that we should host it as well where the majority of our people reside. So that would most likely be Georgetown, right? You can't hold a tournament. Well, you can in the eastern districts where 1,000 people in North Side, 1,000 people in East End. You probably have 30,000 in Georgetown, 20,000 in West Bay. So I think preferably it should be held where the majority of your constituents lie, which will probably be Georgetown.
Right.
Most likely Georgetown. However, I liked the idea of it being in Bordentown. It was a totally different environment.
Yeah.
And the people did come out and support.
Yeah, it was
huge.
Yeah, it was very well supported, in that district. And I think that was basically what created a lot of like you ask again, I think another answer to support, would be, I'm fighting for my electoral district. You know what I mean? You got to have some kind of fight as an athlete, as a sports person. You like what do you really represent? Other than if it's a club, you would kind of want to have that level of, I'm from East End and I look at what I won,
right?
So to speak, and just create that atmosphere where, it just makes you more hungrier as an athlete, and especially in the game of basketball.
Well, I see this program growing from strength to strength, and with the females now coming on board, that's early next month, it's going to be even greater. in terms of being bigger. What has been the feedback like so far with the girls coming up, and how has that been coming on? I mean, I know with girls it tends to take a little more time.
Mm-hmm.
With boys, you just tell them, I know everybody's there, but girls, it's a little slower.
Mm-hmm.
How's that been coming along for you guys?
We always say like the girls are swimming in the ocean with a lot of boys.
Yeah.
Right. So we always ensure that we treating it a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And more specific. Everything is way more specific because we already understand how less of opportunities that's given or that's out there for the girls. So what I've been hearing from just being at Clifton Hunter High School, kudos to those girls over there. They're excited and ready to play. Coach, when are we playing? I haven't been there in a while, so when they see me, it's like the energy level just climbs up a different notch. They're hungry.
Right.
They're ready because what they've been seeing. The boys is finished now.
Right.
So the girls.
So now it's our time.
So now it's the girls' time.
Right.
So now they're on the court. Some are training early morning. Okay. Some are training lunch times.
Okay.
It just shows the effect that what took place over the last few weeks. It should allow selection for the girls. Just and the format for the girls just to take place a little bit easier.
So how many teams are we getting from each district? Is it just
4?
4 teams?
We're getting 4 teams. We got one from West Bay,
okay,
Georgetown, Bordentown, and of course we
combining Northside and
East End.
We can't get a team each from both districts.
We would love to. Normally because it's a small pool, of girls, we would be forced to almost play at a lower age group.
Okay.
To kind of facilitate the numbers or the teams, so to speak. But we want to make sure that at the same time, with it being under 16, the level of performance that what coaches expect would kind of stay at a level, so because we're selecting too, we're making selections for national teams, we're making selections for whatever comes up.
Right.
So that's kind of like why it's done the way it's done.
Okay. And this one, it's different from the boys. The boys had several weekends to go with.
Right.
This one is just one weekend.
Right. This is Saturday and Sunday, so March 4th and March 5th. 3:00 p.m. start both days, and both days venue is at Bordentown Civic Center.
And how are the coaches coming along for each district?
For now, I think they're coming on great. We've had interest from our national team female players, which is a really good incentive. Players like Hannah Parchment, who is
she coached one of the West Bay teams as well for the boys.
She coached one of the boys on the 16 team, assistant coach. She's captain for the women's basketball team.
Yes.
So these are the type of connections that we want our athletes to see and be a part of. This is the experience that we want.
Awesome. All right, we're going to take a short break, and when we get back, we can touch on some more of the mini basketball and our men's league that's in progress. Stay tuned.
The Department of Agriculture would like to inform the community of the holiday closure hours for the plant nursery, sales office, and abattoir starting from the 20th of February in preparation of the upcoming Agriculture Show on Ash Wednesday, February 22nd. All offices will be closed on Ash Wednesday. For more information, visit doa.gov.ky or their Facebook or Instagram page at Agriculture Cayman.
We give you honor and praise, adoration and glory.
Radio Cayman.
Praise time.
Praise him, praise him. Come and let's praise the Lord. Come and let's praise the Lord. Praise him in the morning and in the evening. Oh, let's praise the Lord.
Praise time in the morning.
Praise him, praise him.
Weekdays 6 to 6:30 a.m.
Radio Cayman, waking you up.
Rock my soul in the blues of my favorite. Rock my soul in the blues of my favorite.
Praise time.
I know he cares. He'll always be there.
praise him. Praise time.
Set your clock for 6 a.m. or you will miss it.
HSA's cardiology clinic is now located at Smith Road Medical Center. Our cardiology team provides expert care and treatment for heart conditions such as coronary artery disease, heart failure, arrhythmias, hypertension, congenital heart diseases, among others. The new location offers state-of-the-art cardiac diagnostic testing, including echocardiograms, ECGs, and stress tests. To contact, call 949-8600. At HSA, your heart matters to us.
Grand Cayman's biggest one-day family fun day is back. The 54th annual Agricultural Show at the Stacey Watler Agricultural Pavilion in Lower Valley. Ash Wednesday, February 22nd. Raffle tickets are on sale now. And for only $25, you can win $20,000 and so many other prizes. Raffle tickets include general admission to the show. For more information, visit them on Facebook or CaymanAgriculture.com.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
All right, welcome back to Radio Cayman Sports Extra. If you're just tuning in, we're here with Coach Daniel Augustine. He is the basketball coach for the Department of Sports and youth development coach for mini basketball here in the Cayman Islands. Going back just a little to the district league, it was really nice that Cayman Brac was involved. And coach, I think his name is Lenworth Duhan. Coach Lenworth from the BRAC brought his team to take part in the inaugural event. Hopefully next year or in a year or two, we will be able to have our rallies on Cayman Brac. I think that'll be really nice. Your thoughts?
No, I'm definitely on board with that. And as far as the athletes over in the BRAC, I think most of those young men are still young enough to play in the under 16. So, with once again with our assistance, with training, etc., and keeping them, as close when it comes to development. They have some really good players over there. I've always been an advocate for players from the BRAC, from Anthony Rivers, and a few other names that were exceptionally good basketball players coming out of the BRAC. So kudos to Mitchum and coaches over in the BRAC for, putting the team together and ensuring that they participated in this tournament this year.
Yeah, I think that was incredible. I spoke with Coach Lenworth, and he was just talking about how excited he was, and the kids were excited to come to Grand Cayman and compete, and actually competed very well against North Side and East End, and I think it was it Bordentown? I think it might have been Bordentown.
West Bay. They did fairly well against West Bay.
Yeah, very. Although West Bay has told me to say that they didn't have their full team. Yeah, they didn't have their full team.
No comment.
Yeah, no comment. Well, no, nevertheless, it was really nice to have them on board, and I'm happy that you said that you are for you champion having the Cayman Brac athletes and scouting them and get, because that's one of my questions to Coach Mitchum when I speak with him. It's how much do you want to see more kids taking part in the national programs here in the Cayman Islands, from the BRAC taking part with our national programs here? I think we don't see enough Cayman Brac athletes competing, not just basketball, with football, with cricket, with wherever.
I agree.
And like you said, we have a lot of talent up there.
We do.
Yeah.
They definitely do. They're working hard over there too. They're training,
yes,
and they
got
great coaches. That understand what needs an athlete require in order for them to just go to that next step. in their career, So it's important that we have those, these type of outlets for these kids, whatever the sport is.
Most definitely. And congratulations to Georgetown Prospect as well, who won the district league.
That's right. Kudos to Georgetown Prospect, and kudos to Sean
Peterson.
Sean Peterson.
Who don't lose. You realize that?
Who is
always wins.
Either in the finals or winning it all the time.
Amazing.
All the time. So
Coach Sean. Yeah. It's amazing, actually.
Yep.
It's a men's league when he was a women's coach as well.
Yes.
Yeah. And then on the 16 league, on the 19 league, and now the district league.
Yes.
I know he has a championship in every single division.
Age group.
Every age
group. Wow.
That's amazing. And kudos to him and to his athletes as well, who also speak very, very highly of him.
Right.
All right, so we're going to move on now to some mini basketball. I know now that you've been selected for youth development or mini basketball as it's called, do you know yet who you're incorporating as a coach to work alongside with you?
Well, of course.
Yeah.
It's a female.
Okay.
First and foremost, because like the whole developmental for FIBA is to encourage females to become, coaches at all levels. And we have already identified in Cayman that, we have a shortage of female coaches.
Right.
So we have identified a young coach that has been around teaching the sport
for a very long time.
For a very long time, and it was almost a natural decision to make, and I think she's going to do a phenomenal job.
Are you at liberty to say who?
I'm not even clear exactly who it is, but I know FIBA wants to ensure that is a female.
Okay.
And I've been hearing who in discussions who the young lady is. So I'm all on board if the decision changes then, but it has to be a female. And through guidance, I think with all the support from all of the current delegates in SIBA and with myself and DOS and ministry, and we're going to make this brand new initiative. We're going to make sure we do it the right way.
And mini basketball is what age category?
We're working from ages 6 to 12.
6. And no younger than 6.
No, it's not. It's not 5 or 4. It's 6 to, because it's basically we're talking about kids that can enter primary school.
Right.
Maybe at a reception age, depending on skill level. But going lower requires a different curriculum. Because like I spoke earlier, it's more curriculum driven. So that requires the ages 6 to 12 at this time. I mean, if we can as a country decide on a whole
based on the talent, maybe a younger athlete who you see, this one looks like potential.
We got parents that are basketball lovers that their 4-year-olds are already dribbling
the ball, and
so it's like
I was I didn't on my sports show yesterday there was Coach Janet Letman from netball, and she had 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds that's in her program for turtle netters, and it was the most amusing thing. I said, you know what, because she went around and she did a little interview for me. She does that for netball for me when I can't make particular games to go out there and whatnot. So she will do the interviews, and she spoke to 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, and a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
And it was amazing to see the level of knowledge as well that at that age that they that they understood the game, and they knew what they were there for and what their purpose was, and it was so
exciting.
Cute.
It's exciting
I can imagine
to have that done, because it's what you want. Once we stick into long term athlete development, it's once it's taught. What's supposed to be taught when it's supposed to be taught is what's most important. You're not teaching them, everything under the sun. It's just to have fun. If you're special enough to have some abilities at 4 and 5, then hey, kudos to you.
And maybe tall, maybe some height.
Yeah, you understand. So But yeah,
have you ever coached kids that age before, 5, 6, and 7?
Yeah, we have every year we go to camp, and
Right.
you know, most coaches that if it's my club that we're affiliated with, normally would access, you know, coaches to kind of, you know, be a part of the atmosphere, and you know, we're sometimes fortunate to be able to coach from 5 years old straight to 17
here?
years old. Overseas in the States.
Overseas, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
we haven't brought that age group down to that level as yet, because sometimes that might require a little bit more resources, somebody to be able to teach that age category.
Yeah, and more patience.
Yeah.
And I know when we have camps here,
right,
and you happen to see a 4-year-old running around, you know, the parent probably thought it was a babysitting camp. You know, it's not required.
No, it's yeah, we try to select you as quick as possible, and you know, encourage fun.
Yeah, most definitely.
More than anything else.
Yeah,
so.
this is going to be a nice challenge for you, you think?
I think it was needed.
Yeah.
Over, you know, it being more of a challenge per se. It's a whole pile of fun.
Yes.
It's structured, which to me is most important, because obviously rolling this out won't be done by myself.
Right.
Obviously there'll have to be other individuals supporting the movement, because it's not just basketball only. It's more, you know, environmental stuff. We want to use mini basketball is used to raise a lot of awareness.
Right.
In a country like Uruguay that wants to raise a sustainability awareness. They want to raise a wellness awareness, which that's what the message that FIBA is selling most these days.
Yeah.
To treat it that way, more over just gold medals, you know, and stuff like that, because we want to be able to encourage, because sports is a healthy discussion every single time.
Of course. And the men's league. Let's move on to the men's league. The men's league is on now, and we have 10 teams involved. We're back to normal.
Yeah, we got
COVID.
Yeah, right. That's right. We are.
Yeah,
you're right. Yeah,
it's pretty good. I saw a few games. I caught up on a few games. Last Sunday and Monday. Yeah, they're. I think everyone is pretty balanced. There are a few weaker teams, which will probably be the younger ones.
Right.
It's nice that Shockwaves brought their under-19 team, which most of them are 15, 16 years old and under.
Right.
So that's a heavy ways to go playing in a men's league at that age. But in speaking with the assistant coach Lance Jefferson, his goal was basically for them to get their feet wet in the men's league. So when they play in the under 16 division, they would have already felt that, you know, the strength and the muscle of the men, so they can handle anything in that level, right? Which is good, because that's how he grew up, I guess. That's how he learned. That's how you learned as well. You all won the same national team back then. So, and then there's Blazers. I see Samuel and Shadow Garo are back. They've been missing for 3 years, so it's nice to have them back, get that competition back up, because Warriors was very excited that Sammy and Shad were the chips with them gone. So it's good. Yeah, it's good to have them back on. There's Celtronics, they're looking pretty good as well, and you can't underestimate them.
No.
And the Philippines team as well. I think that's what they're called, the Philippines.
Yeah,
the Philippines. Yeah, they're looking pretty well. They almost defeated IRG Astros.
They nearly beat Astros last night.
Yeah, they did.
You know, a few performance factors that, you know, could have been adjusted early in the game.
Yeah.
That, you know,
they could have prevented that.
Yeah, could have prevented a lot of just errors, turnovers.
Yeah.
But it was a good game overall, you know, just watching the level.
But I think what happened too is that our Astros underestimated the Philippines team, because they thought, okay, it's a Philippines team. And usually when they're playing, they're a lot shorter and smaller in size.
Right.
This time they were 6-footers, right? 6'3", 6'4".
Right.
So the guys were able to come on and dominate the boards.
Oh, yeah.
And think that caught them off guard. But fitness, as usual, is always their problem. Fitness. They weren't able to keep up in the end of the third quarter into the fourth.
That's right.
So IRG took over from there. Well, what's his name? Davy Cottrell, who was player of the game with his 40 points. That was incredible. Right? So I'm liking the league so far. It's looking pretty good.
Yeah, it's a happy medium.
Yeah.
I think I give all of the athletes, a couple of months, to get back into this whole, because like you said, we're back at 10.
Yes.
And I think most teams and coaches are just trying to kind of gather themselves around what needs to happen next.
Yes.
Basically on the court, every Sunday night, every Monday night. So it's interesting, but it's good to see the athletes out there, chasing their goals and trying to keep the sport and the level of playing up to some level of quality.
Well, some great competition is coming as well, because we have CBC that's coming up for the men and the women, and we have and for the under 18s and under 16s.
Yes.
CBC championships that's always played in the Caribbean, and then the island games, the men have to go defend their title, their three-peat.
Yeah,
right?
Yep.
Yeah. That's going to be awesome. Good luck to that. Yep. All right. Well, before we head out, any thoughts on what's happening right now with the NBA? There are a lot of great trades happening, Coach. And there's also, did you see the All-Star game with Mac McClung? Did you see the dunk contest?
My God, I'm telling you, every year is something in awe. You got to be in awe with these guys that are just.
Listen to me. Think about it. They actually brought Mac McClung in to Philadelphia 3 days before the All-Star game, just because they knew that boy could jump and command that attention that he got.
That's right.
Within one night, that man was a household name.
Yeah.
Matt McClung. Awesome jumping ability.
It was bound to happen. I mean, but the things he's been doing over the years.
Yeah, I saw him in 2018 at the Allen Iverson Classic, the Allen Iverson Basketball Classic, and I saw what he can do.
Yeah.
He does that in games as well.
Exactly.
It's not just a dunk out contest or anything. This man does this in the game as well. It's incredible. Yeah,
definitely.
It really is. And what about who's your team?
My team, I'm a KD.
Oh, you love KD.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So wherever he goes.
Yep. And plus, I was like a Kevin Johnson fan.
Okay.
I was barely a Barkley fan, so I moved out. Trust me, KD is right where he needs to be. So I just wish the Phoenix Suns the best of luck.
Yeah.
And kudos to the East.
And I see Lakers got rid of Westbrook.
Well, did they get rid of him, or did he get rid of himself?
I have no idea. And
I'm
to be honest, I do not care. I'm glad. Next person to go is LeBron. All right.
Yeah, that's a talk for another day.
I know it is, most definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Coach Daniel.
Thanks for having me, Dionne.
No problem. Anytime. Yeah. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And we have Coach Mitchum Sanford up next, and he is the sports coordinator for Cayman Brac Sports. All right, so stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Sports Extra in a minute.
Here is where tradition never dies. This is your radio, Cayman.
For the record. For information that matters to you, the people. Hear from the government, the opposition, independents, and other experts on issues and solutions that affect you. For the record. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, tune into 89.9 and 93.9 FM for Cayman's Straight Talk Morning Show. For the record.
I invite you to join me for the record. You are invited to be a part of this interesting and informative show. Embrace the opportunity to dialogue with your legislators, policymakers, and those charged with policy implementation.
For the record.
Brought to you by
Coca-Cola. Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors.
Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola.
Grand Cayman's biggest one-day family fun day is back. The 54th Annual Agricultural Show at the Stacey Watler Agricultural Pavilion in Lower Valley. Ash Wednesday, February 22nd. Raffle tickets are on sale now. And for only $25, you can win $20,000 and so many other prizes. Raffle tickets include general admission to the show. For more information, visit them on Facebook or caymanagriculture.com.
Let me tell you something. I've been fishing our island since I was a boy, and it's getting harder and harder to get a good catch. Maybe it's because there are so many more people in Cayman than ever before. Maybe it's because of how the climate is changing. I don't know about that, but I do know that I want to be able to keep fishing and teach my children to fish one day as well. So it makes sense to me that we have certain areas and certain times of the year to fish for certain things. It feels unfair not to be allowed to fish where my dad had taught me to fish, but I know that being patient now means we can keep fishing for many more generations. We're all in this together, right?
For more info, download the Cayman DOE app or visit doe.ky.
Health Services Authority is now offering online payment options for patients. Patients of HSA can now pay their bills, including deposits, towards scheduled services online at payments.hsa.ky. The secure, new online payment system accepts debit or credit cards and is in addition to the available payment options of cash, check, and online bank transfer. For quick, easy, and secure payment directly from your phone or computer, visit HSA's new online payment system at payments.hsa.ky.
Are you a Caymanian job seeker searching for employment? All jobs, whether full-time, part-time, temporary, or permanent, will be required to advertise on the Jobs Cayman portal. Visit work.ky. That's worc.ky to start your job search to see all available jobs or to apply. For assistance in registering or to learn more, call toll-free 1-800-534-9672 or customer care at 945-9672. 945-9672 today.
Radio Cayman,
The voice,
the heart, the soul of the Cayman Islands.
Alrighty, welcome back to Radio Cayman Sports Extra. Special thank you to Coach Daniel Augustine for coming by today to discuss the district league that's coming up, the girls division of the district basketball league, mini basketball, the men's basketball. We even touched on a little NBA action, so that was great. And now we'll hear from the Sister Island sports coordinator. We have Coach Mitchum Sanford online. Coach Mitchum, are you there?
Good night, Miss Dionne. Yes,
hi. Good night. I know I'm interrupting your practice, so I appreciate you standing by.
Thank you very much. More than welcome to be here. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. I'm really happy to have you on board. Yeah, so tell me, let's start with you. Just tell me what's cooking on the brack right now, sports-wise.
There's a lot of things cooking, as you would say, Miss Dionne here. We every month I send out a monthly sports calendar.
Yes, I have it right in front of me right now.
Right. So as you can see, we bite off quite a bit more than possibly we can chew. The focus on the sports department, the Sister Island Sports Department here in the BRAC, is the 7 focus sports. And those focus sports that we are tasked to implement is cricket, swimming, track and field, volleyball, netball, football, and basketball. So what we do here on the BRAC, because the pool of potential athletes and participants is not very large with a small population, so we tend to focus on sports more on semesters or seasons of the year.
Okay.
So not all sports will run throughout the entire year for a full period. There's only a few sports that actually do that. The rest of them we try to do again based on seasons, because we're using the same pool of athletes for quite a number of sports. So we find here in the BRAC that some of our very best athletes will be involved in 3 to 4 sports at any point in time. And that's quite a bit taxing for a number of athletes, So right now, this is track and field season.
Okay.
So we are focusing on track and field. So presently, I am preparing the primary school, the Kimmerbrook Primary School track team for the inter-primary track and field championships.
Okay.
This next month in Grand Cayman. So I'm training 11 of those children. So we have a few more weeks left in preparation for that. And also, this year is the rebuilding of my track program. I have not been coaching track for the past 5 years doing my studies. So I'm back now teaching track, which is what I love to do. So I'm rebuilding that program, and I'm starting with the primary age children, trying to rebuild the program back to maybe two.
Right, welcome back to Radio Cayman Sports Extra. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So I want to try to rebuild the program back to more than 24 athletes where we can travel to Grand Cayman on a regular basis is what we used to do many years ago. So we would compete in quite a number of meets over there annually, as well as we had quite a number of national representatives from the BRAC and track and field.
And Mitchum, let me ask you a question. Is anyone or any athlete on Cayman BRAC trying out for the Carifta Championships coming up in April?
Not that I'm aware of. Again, I only have a small track program here, which is the primary school children.
Okay.
I am aware, however, that a few high school children have joined clubs over in Grand Cayman, which, they have all rights to do that.
Of course.
So I don't know what those athletes are doing or those clubs are doing.
Okay. All right. And in speaking with Coach Daniel Augustine earlier, I had Daniel on. I know you usually have Coach Daniel to come on Cayman BRAC to do some basketball camps as well.
Yes.
All right, awesome. So in speaking with Coach Daniel, I was asking him, do you think athletes on Cayman BRAC get a fair chance in these sports that you mentioned that Cayman BRAC feels in representing the country on an international level? And what can be done, you think, to make this happen?
Again, we do get a fair shake in a few. I can recall over the many years, and I'm going to give credit to Coach Ernest Seymour, who has now retired from the sports department.
Yes, Coach Gilly.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
When Coach Seymour was coaching the national teams, he never, ever, ever forgot about Cayman BRAC.
Right.
He always made it his point to make sure that BRAC athletes had an opportunity to be a part of trials and as well as to try to make the national teams in various different age categories. For the rest of the other sports, it is very, very difficult because we do not necessarily participate in the national programs of various different sports.
Understood.
Right. In cricket we do, which is the senior league. And we've had a few guys from time to time that have done potential trials, but most of them are expats, so they're not necessarily with Cayman residence papers to qualify for the national team.
Right.
In swimming, again, we've had a very strong program over the years. We have a new swim coach here with us now full-time, and we are rebuilding this swim program. And our objective, or our goal is to have one Carifta athlete for next year, 2024, qualifying swimming in the BRAC.
Nice.
Right. And then again, we had many national track and field athletes for track and field over the years. I've had children that attended CAC, juniors and seniors, World Youth, World Games, Carifta, etc.
Okay.
So to reach back that stage in a few years. Of course, as I said to you earlier, we're starting at a young age, so it's going to take time to rebuild that program so that these athletes can grow and mature enough that they can be able to qualify in the near future. But I don't think we're given a fair shake in many respects, in many of the sports.
Okay.
Because not a lot of the technical directors visit Cayman BRAC.
Right.
So it's very difficult, or even when a Cayman BRAC team would travel over on a weekend to compete, it's, we're not having visitations then from technical directors and others to see the potential that is there or even to try.
Right.
Also, another roadblock is when you do national representative training during the week. It's almost impossible, Dionne, for a Cayman BRAC athlete to attend a training session at 3 or 4 o'clock in the evening, Monday to Friday, in Grand Cayman, knowing that we have school.
Right.
Overnight. So
that I totally understandable, and I do know that Coach Trevor Thorold, the volleyball coach. He was there, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's really commendable as well of volleyball making that extra effort to bring the program to Cayman Brac. When he was on Sports Extra last 2 Tuesdays ago, I should say, he did mention that one of the NORCECA tournaments will be held on Cayman Brac. How excited are you for that?
I'm very excited for this, Dionne. It was a few years ago that the President Kennedy and I discussed the possibility of perhaps creating an infrastructure that could host such events on an annual basis.
Right.
It kind of went quiet, and now, thanks to Trevor and Kennedy, they picked up this interest back again and this commitment. I know Kennedy is working behind the scenes to talk to representatives in the government to see if this is a viable potential opportunity for perhaps later this year, as well as Trevor and the PE teacher at Lehman Scott High School has recognized possible 2 young teenage under 16 boys to play 2v2 beach volleyball tournament later this year.
Yes.
So it's looking very good in volleyball, and I commend the Cayman Islands Volleyball Federation, which I'm a member of myself.
Oh, nice.
Not forgetting Cayman Brac, Trevor and Kennedy and the staff. I love it. Great. I really appreciate them for this.
So you would say so far it's volleyball, football, and cricket are the 3 main sports that head to the Brac and show that interest in bringing the sport to the Little Rock.
Yeah, they're doing, and I mean that's not saying anything negative on others, because everyone has limited funding and annual grants and so forth that they can spend and allocate. Netball, I'm going to shout out and give big praise to the Netball Association, Miss Janet, the technical director, Miss Lynette Montet, and the staff there. I'm very proud to report tonight that we have 3 young high school girls, under 16 girls, that have made the under 16 national team for netball. I have been sending them over every Friday evening to train with the national team, as well as my head coach over here, Mr. Brian Green, who's a school teacher here at the high school. He has also been selected as the assistant coach, and this national team will be leaving next month to compete in an international event. And this is the first time that I can recall in many, many years that our females in the Brac has been given a fair shake, and I must commend Miss Montes and her staff for giving the girls in the Brac a fair shake. I am so glad. I'm very, very grateful for this.
Definitely. I think it's was it Colombia they're heading to?
I cannot recall.
In March? I think, the netballers are heading to Colombia in March, and I'm looking forward to hearing the results. I think it's under 16.
That's correct.
Yeah, it's on the under 16 girls. So, and they're going to be on our show next week, actually, a few of the girls. If your Cayman Brac athlete is on Cayman Brac, it'll be nice to have her online as well.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that'll be fantastic. Just to hear her views, her side of things. I think that'll be great. I did forget that one. Netball slipped me, that because I know they make the extra effort as well, and I know Coach Daniel Augustine for basketball makes the extra effort to come over there and share their knowledge of the sport with the athletes on that side of the island.
Yes, Coach Daniel has never forgotten Kim.
Yeah.
I could never do my job without Coach Daniel for the last 19 years here in the Brac.
Right.
There's so many people that I have to thank for that, that have never forgotten Kim and Brac, and I don't forget them. I'm very grateful for that.
What's the biggest sport with the biggest participation on Cayman Brac? Would it be football?
Yes, it would be. We do our youth program on Tuesday and Thursday evenings from 5:30 to 7:30, and we have in the evening at any one of those Tuesday, Thursday evenings 75 to 100 children at any point in time on the field.
Nice, that's huge.
Right, we have to split the field up in sections, so we run various different programs in the Brac. We do a daycare football program.
Okay.
The daycare. We also do a grassroots U9 program, which started back from when past president of CIFA, Mr. Jeffrey Webb, got the program going. We have never stopped that program.
Okay.
That's a grassroots U8 program. and then we follow that on with a U11, which still encapsulates the primary school children. And then we do a high school program, and it depends on the age and the amount of athletes we have is going to determine what is the age groups. Right now we have a U15 boys and a U17 girls. And then we also have an adult first division team.
I'm also interested in the daycare program. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, the daycare program, we do a daycare sports twice a week on Wednesday and Friday. Wednesdays is done as a football program, and Fridays is done like a sports day track and field type format. My young intern here, Mr. Akito Lewis, has been with the sports department for several years. He is the best of the best. I'm sorry. I've never coached or worked with anyone that are so good with young children,
right,
such as Akito Lewis. One of my objectives is to get him to be hired as a full-time coach here at Sister Island Sports. He does an incredible job. So what we do from that daycare program then is the daycare program is a feeder for us. We find that when they leave the daycare and they go to the primary schools, they just transition straight into our program.
What's the age group of that program?
The children can be as young as 1 year old. So
awesome.
1 and 3, and then before they go into the school system. And then we also do a daycare sports day.
So as soon as they start walking, they're kicking that ball.
That's correct. That's correct. And then we have a fun sports day here in May for them. So we do relays, beanbag throw. It is unbelievable.
Awesome.
Yes.
I'm moving on. I know the Department of Sports under 16 District Basketball League took place last weekend. It was a huge success, and Cayman Brac, Coach Lenworth Duhan, brought his Cayman Brac team to compete alongside Georgetown, West Bay, Bordentown, and Eastern and North Side. What are your views on how that went? And of course, do you see, or would you like to have the basketball rally on Cayman Brac probably in the very near future?
I am very proud of this program. Mr. Duhina is doing an amazing job with that program. He has more than 20-something athletes inside of that program now, male and female, that do 2 sessions a week, Wednesday and Friday. And we narrowed that team down to 11 that took it over to Cayman. What we lack here is competitive game.
Right.
We weren't able to have a rally within our own island, which would have gave us more game time on the court to really develop better.
Right.
So I'm hoping that next year perhaps we can get as much as 30-something kids inside of this program. That way we could have a real own rally here that would prepare the children a little bit better so that by the time they reach over there for the championship, they would be more prepared.
Mitchum, tell me, where would you like to see sports on Cayman Brac in the next 5 years? What's your goal?
Our goal is full participation as much as possible in all national programs or competitions within the Cayman Islands. That's a very tall order for me to say, but we want to have 3 full-time staff.
Right.
That's very tough. And as you can see in my motley calendar, we're biting off way more than we can chew. And to make that work, Dionne, I have 15 part-time community coaches. Is the only how we can do this.
Right.
So we just want to continue to develop, continue to offer programs in every age category that we possibly can, follow all international standards, rules, and regulations. We want a safe, clean environment where parents and everyone feels safe and enjoyable in a very learning environment. That's our overall goal on this.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mitchum, for your time. I know that you're coaching at the moment, so I appreciate you making the time for me, and I hope your boys aren't misbehaving while you're not there.
No, they're not. They're Broncos. They're very well behaved.
Tails. Alrighty. I appreciate you, and all the best, and we'll keep in touch, of course. And I want to continue doing that Friday banter that we do, where you tell me all that's what's going on the weekend for the Brac, all right?
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Take care. All right. Well, thank you so much to Mitchum and Coach Daniel Augustine. That's it for tonight's edition of Sports Extra. Of course, as you know, Sports Extra is about giving you the latest information on sporting activities here in the Cayman Islands. And in order to keep up to date, you can check out our social media pages, preferably Facebook. You can also log on to Radio Cayman's YouTube channel for tonight's edition of Sports Extra. And that's it. I'm Dionne Anglin. Good night and God bless. Thank you for tuning in.
Radio Cayman's local evening sports report was proudly sponsored by King Sports Center, providing your fitness, recreation, and relaxation needs.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.